Good day, my lovely people. You're welcome to the channel. This is Uglo Fashion. Today we are learning how to make this wonderful short gown with cape and this lovely bow. And I assure you are going to gain a lot on this tutorial. So if you are new on this channel, please subscribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, please like and share my video. Thank you for this tutorial. The measurement I'll be using is from shoulder to nipple point is 9.5, shoulder to under bust 12.5, shoulder to half length is 16, and shoulder to the gown length is 41. Circumference of the shoulder is of the back is 15. The sleeve is 12 and 11. The circumference of the bust is 36. Circumference of under bust is 30. Circumference of half length is 30. And circumference of the hip is 39. The nipple to nipple is 7 inches. So first thing is I'll first measure the bodies of the gown. For the gown has cape, so the first thing is I'll measure the bodies of the gown. So to start with, I'm going to start from the down part, and that is the half length to the gown length. The half length is 16 inches, then the gown length is 41. So I've chalked 41 for the gown length. Then I added 2 inches for my folding. So for the hip, from shoulder to hip, so the shoulder from my measurement from shoulder to hip is 24 inches, and shoulder to knee length is 34 inches. So I will rule everything. So now after ruling everything out, I'll go ahead and measure the total circumference. So I'm using this side for the waist for the half length. So now the circumference of the half length is 30 inches. 30 divided by 4. Then I will add 1 inch for my seam allowance, and I used 1 inch because this material is stretchy, and also I'm not adding any lining to this style, so I'm using only the fabric. So that's why I'm not adding more than 1 inch. In case you are using any fabric that is not stretchy like this, you can add 2 inches for your seam allowance. So after that, I'll measure the circumference of the hip. Circumference of the hip is 39. 39 divided by 4. Then I'll add 1 inch for my seam as well. So for the knee length, because it's like bodycon gown, it's a bodycon gown, so I want the knee length to be shapy, to have this pencil shape. So I'll subtract 4 inches from the hip circumference, so that will give 35. So if you don't want it as shapy as this, you can just subtract 2 inches. So 39 minus 4 will give 35. 35 divided by 4. Then I'll add 1 inch to it. So I'm going to extend this measurement to this side as well. So I have 8 points. So now I'm going to connect the lines. After connecting the lines, I'm going to give this side the curve shape. Then I'm going to cut it out. So now for the back bodies, I folded my fabric again into 2. Then I placed the front bodies on the back bodies. I left 2 inches for my zipper allowance. So, and I've ruled out every necessary part there. So I'm going to cut it out. The only difference now is just the zipper allowance from the back and the front, and I'm going to still reshape the hip side of the back bodies. So let me first cut out this. So now after cutting the main bodies from my fabric, I notched the part I'm going to fold in. Then I'm going to separate the front bodies from the back bodies. So for the back bodies, this is the hip side and this is the knee length. So for the knee length, I'm going to go in after the zipper allowance measurement. I'll just measure 1 inch inside. Then I'm going to slant it to the hip circumference. So now I'm connecting. After connecting it to the hip circumference, the hip, I'll go ahead and cut this side out. So now I will cut the, I will notch the zipper allowance as well. So now I'm done with the back bodies and the front body. So I'll pack this aside and work on this. So after cutting from half length to the gown length, now I folded my fabric again. So I'm cutting from shoulder to half length now. So I'm using this side for my shoulder, and shoulder to half length is 16 inches. Then I'm adding 1 inch for my joining, half for the shoulder, then half to join both the down bodies and the upper one together. So I'm going to rule that out first. Then after that, I'll measure from shoulder to nipple point, which is 9.5, and shoulder to up to under bust, that's 12.5. So I will rule that out as well. So now circumference of the shoulder. After ruling out this, I will start with the circumference of the shoulder. That's 15 inches. 15 divided by 2 will give 7.5. So from there, I'll measure the circumference of the bust. That's 36 divided by 4. Then I'm adding 1 inch for my seam as well. But for this, I'm adding 1 inch for my seam. Then for here as well, the under bust is 30 divided by 4. Then I will add 1 inch again. For the half length, I'm adding half length divided by 4. Then I'm adding 1 inch. So I'm transferring the measurement here too. So I'll connect the lines. So after connecting the lines, I want to measure the armhole now. So from the shoulder circumference, I'll measure 7 inches. So 7 inches. I'm going to connect this to the 7 inches. So from here, I'll measure 4.5. Then here I'll go in with 1 inch. Here I'll measure half again. So I'm going to connect everything together. Then I'll transfer this. Now measure 1. I'll add 1 to each body. So I'll cut it out. Now I've placed my front bodies on the remaining fabric to cut the back bodies. I fold the remaining fabric into 2. So now I gave 2 inches, like the way I did for the down body. So I gave 2 inches. I left 2 inches for my zipper allowance. So I'll go ahead and cut this the same shape I cut for the front body. So for the neckline, because of how the shape of the neck is, it has cape and at the same time has high neck. So what I will do now is I'll measure 3 inches for the neckline. Then because I'm cutting both front and back together now, I'll just come down with 1 inch Then I'll connect. So for the shoulder, I'll measure one here, then I'm going to slant it to the neckline. And after that, I will separate the back from the front bodies. So, so for the front bodies, I will still come down with 3 inches. So I'm going to notch here. Sorry, I forget to measure my that. So the nipple to nipple is 3.5. I would have added half to it, but this fabric is stretchy, so I'm going to make use of that 3.5 inches. So, and it will end 1 inch to the nipple point. So, so this nipple to nipple that I'm measuring, it will cut across to the down bodies as well. So for the cape on the gown, I've folded the fabric into two already. So I pick this side and I'm going this way, just like in a triangular form. So I'm cutting flay for the cape. Then the length of the cape is 12 inches. Length is 12 inches. So I'll come back here and I measure the circumference of the neckline. The circumference is 17 inches. So now from here I measured 4.5 inches. So I'm going around with the 4.5 inches. So I'll measure it. The total I have here, and I have 16.5. So I'll just adjust it a bit. So let me remeasure. There's a little adjustment here. So now I have 17 inches. Then I'll start from this point again. I measure it around this 16.5. So I'm going around with the 16.5 inches. I cut two of this, one for each side, one for each side. So now I'm still going to cut this into two because there is one opening by the left side and there is bow there. So I'm going to cut this into two. But this I will separate it because there's no opening anywhere. Now this is the down bodies of the gown. I told you it's a bodycon, so I'm going to stitch my darts here. So for the dart, I told you the nipple to nipple is 3.5. So I measured 3.5 and I said the material is a bit stretchy. So I measured 3.5 for the from the middle. Then I measured need 5 inches for the length of the dart. So I'll go ahead and first stitch the dart. After stitching the dart of the down bodies, I stitch that of the upper body too. So now I'm going to stitch the two together. I will ensure the darts are aligned. So for the back bodies, I stitch the two together. Then I started from the hip side. I left the zipper allowance. So I started from the hip side to it reaches the nail length. So now after that, I'm going to stitch this to one side of the skirt. Sorry, one side of the gown. Sorry. So I place the cape where I notch after the zipper allowance. So I stitch it on the neckline. Then there's a notch at the middle of the neckline. So I pleat like 1 inch inside on the neckline. And after that, I took the remaining half of the cape, but initially it was two cape that I cut. So the remaining, I noticed that it was longer than what I needed for the neckline, so I had to cut it into two. So I'm using the remaining half now. I used my hemming gum to gum the sides of the cape. So now I'm stitching the remaining half to the other side of the neck. Now I've joined every part of the body. So for the neckline, I'm going to fix this cape then. So the first thing I'll do is I'll measure from the back neckline where the zipper allowance started from. Then I'll end it where the shoulder is. That's like 4.7. So I'm going to measure that 4.7 here and I'm going to put like a dart there, 4.7. So I've launched there. So I'm going to put that there. Neckline, I measure the circumference I have here. So and I cut the length of the circumference by 2 inches. So now I cut two of that. So I'm using one to face the other. So I'll stitch the two together. So for the side, I measure 16 inches by 3 inches. Then I cut two of that and I use them to turn each other. So I opened one side just to bring the front side out. Then I did likewise for this one. I cut 10 inches for this by 2 inches. Then I stitch Now I'll fix the bow tie where there is opening at the neckline. After fixing the bow, I notch the middle of the neck of the collar, and I notch the middle of the neckline as well. So I'm going to so after fixing it on the wrong side, now I'm going to stitch. I'll stitch on from the right side.